Today I want to talk about one of my favorite premium travel credit cards, the US Bank Altitude Reserve. I think a lot of people don't get this card because they're either aspiring to get that Amex Platinum or that Chase Sapphire Reserve, or they already have one of those more premium credit cards and they don't want to pay another annual fee for benefits that they see as like redundant, which is understandable. I signed up for this card before I got those other cards, and it brought me a lot of value before I stepped up and added some of those higher tier cards. And now that I have the Amex Platinum and the Chase Sapphire Reserve, this card actually still brings me value, and renewing it for a third year was kind of a no-brainer. I'm going to tell you some secret tricks and hacks that even some people who have this card aren't aware of. But first, let's go over the basics. So this card has a $400 annual fee. It comes with a limited version of Priority Pass, it comes with TSA PreCheck, and it comes with $325 of annual travel and dining credits. The sign-up bonus on this card has pretty much stayed at 50,000 points for the last few years, but these points can be redeemed at 1.5 cents per point. So this sign-up bonus is worth $750, just like the current sign-up bonus on the Venture X. So maybe you knew all that. But I'm going to tell you 5 things that I bet you didn't know that may make you reconsider this card. Number 1, Altitude Reserve points are effectively non-transferable Chase Ultimate Rewards points. What do I mean by that? Well, if you don't have both a US Bank Altitude card and a Chase travel card, you probably aren't aware of this, but the travel portals for both of these banks are identical. I don't know if both companies are subcontracting to the same company that handles the travel portal, or if US Bank has some sort of special arrangement with Chase, but for whatever reason, anything that you can book on the Chase travel portal, you can also book on the US Bank travel portal at a rate of 1.5 cents per point, which means the points are actually worth more than your Chase points if you don't have a Chase Sapphire Reserve. Now there is one difference, which is that these points are non-transferable. So that means that US Bank doesn't have any travel partners that you can transfer the points to, and you also can't pool points between cards. So what's the use case for this? Basically, I use these points anytime that I would use Chase points on the travel portal to save my Chase points so that I can transfer them to a travel partner like Hyatt and get a better redemption rate. Also, some of us just kind of like to collect our Chase points and kind of value those points above other points. So anytime you can not spend those points, it's kind of a bonus if you're getting the same value. And a third thing is that you can only sign up for so many Chase credit cards. If you're over 524, this is effectively another way to collect Chase points. Number 2, real-time rewards and how to hack it. You could argue that these points are actually more valuable, or at least more versatile, than Chase points because of something called real-time rewards. Basically, this is something you opt into, and then when you make a travel purchase with your card, then you receive a text and you respond redeem if you want to cover that purchase with points. And it will automatically cover that purchase on your statement at a rate of 1.5 cents per point. Now you can only use real-time rewards if you have enough points to cover the full purchase. You're definitely going to want to look online and see what purchases are covered, and you also want to wait 48 hours after activating before you make any purchases that you cover with points. If it doesn't trigger, you can call US Bank, and there are reports online that they'll actually manually do it for you. Just make sure you look into what's eligible online. But we can actually take this a step farther because there's a way to hack this, and it's kind of a gray area. I wouldn't do this often. Basically, you can make a travel purchase for something that's cancelable and refundable. Wait for that purchase to post, use your points through real-time rewards to cover the purchase, and then cancel the booking and get a refund. Now, when you're refunded, you get that money as a statement credit, not the points. So you'll get cash back at a rate of 1.5 cents per point. Number 3, retention bonus. A retention bonus is basically when a credit card company gives you something, usually points, for you to keep that account open for an additional year. Usually you have to call in and request this. I have over 20 credit cards, so believe me when I tell you that I have made dozens of calls requesting retention bonuses. And very rarely do I get a retention bonus, or if I'm offered a retention bonus, it's just not worth it because it's, 5,000 points for spending $3,000, and I'd rather put that spend somewhere else. But with this card, you have a very high chance of getting a retention bonus year after year, or at least every other year, just by calling and asking. I called in earlier this month and I said, hey, I'm considering canceling this card. I'm just not sure that the annual fee is worth it for me at this point. I wanted to check if there are any retention offers on the table. The man on the other end checked and said, well, yes, I can give you 10,000 points. And I said, how much do I have to spend? And he said, nothing. 10,000 points for free just by calling. That's $150 worth of travel credit. And when you combine that with the $325 of existing dining and travel credit, I more than came out on top by keeping the card for an additional year. Keep in mind, I don't spend a ton of money on this credit card. I do use it, but I wouldn't say it's one of my main cards. Also, I received an almost identical retention bonus last year. There are many data points online of other users receiving similar retention bonuses. Most are about 10,000 points, some people are 5,000 points, and most are zero spend. Number 4, a special trick with the Priority Pass membership on this card. So the Priority Pass that comes with this card, it is more limited than the Priority Pass that comes with some of the other high-end cards, in that you can only visit 4 lounges per year. But it does have something unique that those other memberships don't have. You can actually activate the Priority Pass membership associated with this card in someone else's name. So I actually just did this recently. I had never bothered setting up the Priority Pass on my US Bank Altitude Reserve because I have Priority Pass with other credit cards. But when I heard about this trick, I went on, I followed the link, and made a new Priority Pass account in my girlfriend's name. I put my email and phone number, but it's her name on the card. So when she's at the airport, she can visit up to 4 lounges per year, and she can even take a guest. Also, this version of Priority Pass does work at restaurants. One word of caution is that you can't undo this, so if you think that there's any chance that you'll want to use that membership for yourself, then maybe hold off. Also, if that person visits more than 4 lounges per year, that fee will be applied to your credit card. So just something to be aware of. Still a cool trick nonetheless, and definitely worth it if you have family members. Number 5, the travel credit on this card is one of the easiest to use out of any travel credit card. If you have the Amex Platinum, you know it can be a real pain using up all of your credits to make sure you're offsetting the annual fee. Well, with this card, it's not like that at all. The travel and dining credit kicks in anytime you pay at a restaurant, purchase airfare, get a hotel. It automatically applies to your statement credit a day or two later, and it always works. I'll also say that this credit is considerably easier to use than the $300 travel credit that comes with the Venture X. That credit has to be used on the Capital One travel portal. Also, the fact that the Altitude Reserve credit works on dining just makes it so much more versatile. Maybe you didn't travel in a given year, or maybe you travel, but your friends want to use Airbnb, or you want to book airfare with your points. Then it can be annoying and stressful to try to use up that credit. So that's something that you always have to consider with the Venture X. I'm not saying it's not a great card. It is a very good card, but in terms of ease of use for the credit, the Altitude Reserve definitely comes out on top. And that was my 5 facts, secrets, and hacks about the US Bank Altitude Reserve. What do you think about this card? Are there any hacks or tricks that I left out? Things that I'm maybe not aware of? Let me know. Please consider subscribing. I'm just starting out. I've been collecting points and redeeming points for years, and I have a lot of knowledge and recommendations that I'm excited to share with you guys. Thanks for watching.